Thank you, Seth, and thank you, MediaPost, for having us. Like Seth said, the retention rate is real, and we come because we see a lot of value out of it. We meet new people, we get new relationships, we learn a lot, so we really appreciate it. Is everybody here familiar with GSTV? Just out of curiosity, how many people are? I see some hands. Okay, cool. If you're not familiar with us from a media perspective, you've likely engaged with us as a consumer. So we're the largest consolidated video network that are located at fuel and convenience retailers across the country. So big chains, small independents, regional chains, et cetera, we work with them all, and we try to entertain folks when they're at the fuel location filling up their car. And if you happen to have driven up here, we've had these great brand insiders, MediaPost welcome messages playing at locations up and down the 101, so I'll let that kind of
Brand Insiders, fuel up your media strategies with GSTV. We'll see you at Brand Insider Summit, CPG and QSR, Santa Barbara, California.
So just a cool bumper we added to the experience, but again, as I said, National Video Network, big scale. When we look at like where we sit, we're across 29,000 locations in the US, over 205 DMAs. What we run is a 4-minute long program, which is the average time that it takes you to fill up your car, right? So we try to make a show that's engaging. We constantly are messing with our content curation, just trying to engage consumers in a way that they find valuable. And obviously we're intermixing brand ads within there. But why are we here? Why do we focus on QSR? I think this is the 5th QSR conference that we've either attended or sponsored. QSR is the largest vertical at GSTV. And it makes sense when you think about it. The next few slides is what I'll kind of call the money slides. If you don't take anything else away from the presentation, these next few are really illuminating just a consumer behavior that makes sense when you unpack it, but you wouldn't necessarily think of right off the bat. The number one thing people do when they leave the fuel and convenience location is they get food. And the number one place that they get food at is at QSR and casual dining locations. We know this through our work with numerous data partners, MasterCard advisors, Affinity Solutions. They just take aggregated credit card data and they look at that 0 to 3 hour window post fuel up and see what the heck are people spending their money on. The QSR is consistently at the top. So if you look at the stats here, there's over a 5x increase in QSR spend on fuel day versus non-fuel day. When you look at the cost per incremental visit norms, we're delivering over a 3x on that. And as you can see the stat here as well, 81% of people are gonna spend money on something during that day. So it's a great way to interject your brand message before we know a consumer is gonna make a dining decision. And you may ask, well, great, I may either have a dinner product, a lunch product, or a breakfast product. When's the best time to be on air? The simplest way to look at this graph is the green chart indicates people on fuel day. The gray chart indicates people that did not fill up that day. So you'll see that virtually any hour of the day is an effective time to be on air, right? So if you've got a breakfast day part, a lunch, a commuter message is what we do a lot. So we get folks when they're coming home. We were talking to Pizza Hut earlier today about wouldn't that be cool? You're filling up gas, you're going on your way home. What are you gonna have for dinner? Your pizza could be waiting for you by the time you get there, sort of a thing. So really kind of cool in that perspective. It's also neat that we're naturally frequency capped. You don't get gas every day, right? On average, we go once a week, maybe once, 1.5 times on a weekly basis, but that's kind of cool too. And you know that you naturally have that frequency cap in and you're not gonna be getting a lot of media waste there. We have momentum on our side. This slide, I laugh at it just because the couch graphic is funny, but it's true. These people are out in the world. The influence that you can use with those media dollars when somebody's already in motion versus trying to get them in motion from perhaps a sedentary position is just a lot easier, right? So your media dollar works easier. I like to think about it like the Google last click in the wild, right? These people are gonna eat somewhere. Are they gonna eat at your restaurant? This is your opportunity to help nudge them in that direction. So what we did also is we looked at every brand that's here. We looked at every one of your locations and we mapped them towards our locations. And just for perspective of scale, It's really kind of cool to see that within 0 to 5 miles, we cover 90% of every single restaurant that's represented here. Within a 10-mile radius, that goes up to 96%. For individual brands, that's actually, some of those will fluctuate a little bit higher or lower, but that 90, 95 is a pretty safe window for most brands that are out there. And case studies, just have 2 to share with you. We've got a library of these for QSR. Store visits, I would say store visitation, ROAS is probably the strongest thing that we can drive. As you can see here, this one is a phenomenal one from a big national chain. Drove a $15 return on ad spend. As you can see, the incremental visitation was close to 700,000 visits. The visitation lift was incredible. So from a CPIV, from a ROAS perspective, really, really strong. We're also doing a lot within the app space too. So obviously loyalty is big for many of the brands here. A lot of you have your own apps. You're trying to push more digital orders. We're able to also, obviously within our, of the real estate of the brand ad, push a QR code to download the app, or just a reminder, hey, did you know you could order this on our app and it could be ready for you and you can earn loyalty points, etc. So we're working with partners like Kochava and AppsFlyer to measure that in-app activity, like how many installs can we attribute to post-exposure on GSTV and what type of ordering did we see from that. So that's super cool. I wanted to show you a little bit just about how we think about content and then show you a couple cool brand examples of how they've shown up on GSTV. So if we can't curate a program that people are gonna watch, none of this stuff matters, right? We're not gonna be able to drive the type of brand results that we've shown earlier. So we work really hard on curating a show that you're actually gonna care about. And it's really it's very short, snackable content. Think of it, it's really influencer driven. It's 10, 15-second spots. In our latest Newfront presentation this year, we onboarded content partners like TikTok. Tank's Good News, Tank Sinatra is a big social influencer. Super League from a gaming perspective, Kiwi Limon and La Liga are both on our Hispanic network. But anyways, we're trying to curate a show that people are actually gonna engage with and pay attention to. Again, like I said, original program. We also have a lot of our in-house originals. Again, it's super short, snackable, influencer-driven. It's also brand safe. It's important to note obviously, we just went through an election cycle. There's lots of noise all over the place. GSTV is a safe, family-friendly space for any brand. We don't accept political ads. We don't run any hard news. We don't really run any news aside from very lighthearted. Anything that you would be comfortable having your 8-year-old see is what you'd see on our channel. So. Just important to show there. These are 2 cool examples of how brands have shown up. They're both static. I have a couple videos after this. The top one for McDonald's, what they ran, we have a new product called an L-bar. So you see that Free Fry Friday, that's ever present. It's a static overlay that lives there while the 15-second spot runs. So this is a great spot. You could add a QR code for an app download, or just if it's a limited time offer that you want to bundle with another type of messaging, it's a great way to get a 2-for-1 there. The second one down there from Subway was what we call an action tag. It's the ability to showcase a message like, hey, in this case, you're 5,280 feet away from your foot-long cookie. It could be proximity-based. Again, this could be another opportunity to just drive home a message. Whatever you want to do, it's essentially 5 additional seconds of airtime for the brand to kind of play with. And I'll give you an example here. This is one that McDonald's recently did for their $5 meal deal. This couples the brand spot with the action tag and gives you a better video example of what that looks like.
Looking for a reason to try the new $5 meal deal at McDonald's? Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and the price makes 5.
So much.
That's everything you get with the new $5 meal deal at McDonald's.
You're less than 5 minutes away from McDonald's $5 meal deal.
So that's that little bumper, that action tag, that again, this is just total white space. We could do whatever you want with it, drive to a specific location, call out an offer, whatever you want to do. And then we moved to our friends at Jack in the Box. So what we did here is we worked with them to actually create a bespoke custom piece of content that would run immediately prior to their brand spot. So we had a lot of fun with this Decode the Emoji spot that I'll play for you can see.
100% all-white meat spicy chicken strips are back. Look at them sitting there. Just sitting there. Can't believe we hired a director for this. Spicy chicken strips starting at $5 are back at Jack in the Box.
So just a cool, different way for the brand to show up. Just in addition to their regular spot, they added that fun piece of custom content. And the last piece, just because I saw this in my social feed yesterday, Wendy's kind of posting their spot on GSTV, I thought was fun and cool and timely again, as I just captured it yesterday and wanted to share that. But hopefully that gives you a little bit more perspective on who we are, what we do. Patty, who is over there, back there with me, we're here for the next couple days. Would love to meet and talk with you all and really appreciate the time. Thank you all.